So when you grow your own food or get from the farmer locally, I mean, how's that soil?
You're going to get a higher nutrient value with that, especially because it's fresher. So nutrients deplete as they get picked and then they get to you. And a lot of the time, things in the store are at least a week old or so by the time they get to you. And every day they lose more and more nutrients.
Hey there, and welcome back to the Pretty Profit Podcast, where beauty meets business and real results happen. I'm your host, Marcia Mehrali, owner of Beneath the Surface Spa here in Madison, New Jersey. Today, we're diving into a delicious topic that sits at the heart of beauty from the inside out, eating for beauty. Joining me is Caryn O'Sullivan from Appetites for Life, a brand and mission I love because it's all about nourishing your body in a way that supports not just health, but your glow. If you've ever wondered what's on your plate, how it affects your skin, your energy, and your confidence, you're in for a treat. If you love this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Now let's get into that tasty conversation with Appetites for Life. Caryn, I'm so excited to have you here today. You're the voice behind Appetites for Life, and your approach to food as a path to beauty, vitality, and confidence is something our listeners need to hear. Let's dive into how we eat truly shapes how we look and feel from the inside out. What does eating for beauty mean to you personally?
Well, for me, beauty is a sign of health. A beautiful body is one that functions optimally, is full of energy and vibrancy. And people always think of beauty as like luscious hair and flawless skin and gorgeous nails. And yes, that's all important for beauty, but beauty comes from the inside. It's created at the cellular level. So I feel like it starts with what you eat on a daily basis.
Was there a turning point in your life where, for your health, that made you rethink how you nourish your body?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's how most of us get into this career. There's some major turning point. So for me, I had always struggled with food. In college, I struggled with an eating disorder. I didn't have a healthy relationship with food. And when I was 23, I had just moved to London. And at that time, I became very sick with something that was undefined. Nobody knew what was going on with me. And that led to hearing loss and chronic tinnitus, which I still deal with today. But I'm grateful for that journey because it got me onto a path to try to heal my body. And that just opened up a whole new world of education and taught me that the foods I was eating were not serving my body. And I was able to, over the next few years, really learn a lot about that and cut out certain foods and add in others. And it just completely made me rethink how to nourish my body.
So do you think organic is the best way to go? I know that you grow your vegetables, correct?
I do. I have a garden. I don't grow everything that I eat. It's pretty hard to do that.
Yeah.
I also, I'm hooked up with a CSA, a local farm that delivers fresh vegetables and fruit to the door in the on season between June and Thanksgiving. But yeah, when I have to buy at the store, I try to go for organic as much as I can. There's a list that's put out by the environmental working group called the Dirty Dozen. It can be easily searched up online. And every year they publish what are the 12 most clean vegetables and fruits, least sprayed with pesticides, and the 12 that are the dirtiest, are the ones that you want to try to avoid and buy organic instead. So I always look at that list. A lot of the things are consistent every year, but some things do change. So yes, if you can afford organic, that is a good choice.
So who's your farmer? For those of us we're around Madison, New Jersey, just so you know, reference to where this farmer is.
So it's called Flocktown Farm. I'm forgetting the town that it's based in, but they do deliver to the door and really great variety. You can get small, medium, large, or family size boxes. So they have a lot of options and possibilities for people.
I love that idea. I didn't even know that was even an option.
Oh, yeah. So there are a lot of CSAs around here, and also you can get meat shares, egg shares, and so forth. So you can tailor it to what you like.
Oh, I love that. So I know that a lot of us love sugar. So, how does sugar impact and processed foods impact our skin?
Yeah, so sugar is void of all those nutrients, more or less. And it isn't just void of it, actually steals nutrients from your cells. So sugar is affecting your health. It affects your mood, your hormones, your liver. It spikes your blood sugar, which then in turn that affects everything in your body, especially hormones and weight. Sugar just takes up that caloric space, in your diet. So you have more of that and less of the good stuff. And we do see links between too much sugar in the diet and acne and other skin issues as well.
Hmm. So, how much is too much sugar?
I guess that depends who you ask. Some people will say absolutely no sugar.
Right.
And when we're talking about sugar, we're talking about white refined sugar.
Hmm.
I do believe there's a place in the diet, obviously for fruit and natural sugars, but also even some like maple syrup and honey, which have beneficial
Okay.
nutrients, are the ones that I would use, and coconut sugar, if and when I'm baking or using sugar,
Mhm.
because at least they're not lacking in nutrients, but you
So,
still don't want a lot of it.
so can you substitute syrups or honey in our regular recipes that would call for white sugar, or will it change it?
You might have to adjust the proportions too, especially when you're going from like a dry to a liquid. You're going to have to do some adjustments. But often, if a recipe like cookies or cake, calls for white sugar, I'll use coconut sugar instead, and I usually decrease it by half because it's a lot sweeter than you need, and a lot sweeter than white sugar.
Where do you find coconut sugar? I've never even seen that.
Yeah, it's in most stores now. It's pretty easy to find. And coconut sugar doesn't have as much, it doesn't cause as much of a blood sugar spike as white sugar does. So it has a lower glycemic index. Still, if you're dealing with blood sugar issues, you're diabetic, you want to cut out as much sugar as possible. But for those of us who aren't and still want a little sweetness, it's a good option.
Sometimes you just need something, I
Yeah.
think. So that's why I asked how much, like once a week. But if you can substitute with other things and have just a healthier, get that sweet tooth, out, satisfied and have something a little bit more healthy, that's awesome. I'd rather do that.
Yeah, and the more whole foods and the more nourishing foods you put into your diet, the fewer sugar cravings you're going to have.
Okay.
And you're not going to crave it as much. And you'll
Okay.
be more easily satisfied by a bite or two or something rather than having a whole piece.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea. So, how quickly can skin show the effects of dietary changes? So, as we make these changes, how long should, we see a result?
Well, on your skin, you'll start to see it first. So your skin cells turn over about every 28 days or so. So with consistent dietary changes within 1 month, most of my clients start noticing changes in their skin. It's the first sign that things are shifting inside. You might see it's going to take a little bit longer in your hair and nails to see some changes. They can take a couple months, but because the hair follicles are made of protein, they need nutrients to grow, and it can take a while to actually get to those hair follicles and produce new hair with your new diet. But most of my clients do start seeing changes within a few months of the nails and the hair.
Okay. So, for someone who's going to start eating for beauty, where do they start?
Well, it's kind of a loaded question there. I like take it in two ways. When I work with clients, I say start small. Try to just take one step at a time, because if you start to do all this information at one time and all these suggestions, you're going to get overwhelmed. Likely it's going to backfire, and it's not going to stick. So when we're making dietary changes, we really want things to stick for lifelong changes, right? So let's start small. Let's make sure that the basics are covered. Make sure that you're hydrated. Number one. And you say a lot of dry skin issues can simply be solved by proper hydration. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. The bags under your eyes could be some nutritional deficiencies, but it could also just be like you are not getting enough sleep. And sleep is also very, very important for regenerating cells, for repairing things in our bodies. And if you're not getting that basic good night's sleep, you're pushing, midnight hour and you're seeing even beyond that, it's going to really give a challenge to your body to repair and regenerate itself.
So what are ways to hydrate that's not water?
So water is very important. You do need to have
Right.
that, but there are ways to make your water more fun because I know a lot of people don't like the taste of water, or they just get bored with it. So you can add things like lemons and limes or even orange slices, which give you lots of good vitamin C, but also some electrolytes. You can add a pinch of sea salt in there, and that's a really good electrolyte drink. I also like to add cucumbers, which again provide different types of electrolytes. So we can drink a ton of water all day, but if we're not getting electrolytes in, which are minerals from our food or from some fruits and vegetables, we're going to feel thirsty all the time and you're not going to like really hydrate at the cellular level. So that's important to add in.
So I know I had to educate my children on this, but what do you think of seltzer water?
So it's not something I want you to drink all day. And a lot of these seltzers have natural flavors or even artificial flavors. So that's something to really watch. It's not going to hydrate you the same way water will hydrate you. So it's not a replacement, but if you have one, maybe two a day, and certainly a better option than having soda if somebody is like addicted to soda or really likes that bubbly feel, then that's the better option, of course, but we don't want to drink that all day long.
What about those containers? I don't really see them that much anymore that produce bubbles in water. Remember those?
Oh, the machines themselves.
Yeah. Is that something, instead of, buying the seltzer? Is that a healthier version?
Yeah, I can't really speak to that, expertise wise. I haven't really looked into the comparing one or the other.
Okay. And another thing that a lot of young people I see drinking is coconut water.
Mhm.
What do you think about coconut water?
Coconut water is another great source of electrolytes, good source of potassium. It really hydrates your body. So, in cases of people who do a lot of sports or they're out and about a lot, running around, it can be a really good replenishment drink. We do need to watch if there's any added sugars, and of course, so trying to get the most pure that you can. But it's a good replacement for like those energy drinks or Gatorade, which I don't, love all those food dyes and, food flavorings and things in there.
So, what does a typical beauty boosting plate look like? What is your plate? What do you eat?
So that's a really great question. I'm going to take it breakfast, lunch, and dinner at a time here. So, in general, be lots of leafy greens, maybe even some microgreens. I love microgreens. There's so much nutrition in those,
What is a microgreen?
like a broccoli sprout,
Okay.
or you can get the tiny little sprouted
Mhm.
greens. I like to add a lot of berries. So for breakfast, I might do like an avocado toast on sourdough bread. We put some lemon, sea salt, radishes, and pile that high with microgreens. Maybe I'll top that with an egg, and on the side some organic berries. Let's see, for lunch, maybe like a big salad with arugula and lettuce, and add in some chicken and chickpeas, cucumbers, pumpkin seeds, all of these foods, which we are really beneficial for eating for beauty because they have a lot of these nutrients like zinc and magnesium and other nutrients that your body really needs for healthy hair, skin, and nails. Dinner might be like some wild salmon or some type of whole grain like wild rice or farro, some steamed broccoli or red peppers on the side. And of course, some dark chocolate for dessert because that's my preferred way to take in magnesium is dark chocolate.
Yeah. Well, dark chocolate really tastes good with red wine. What's your take on red wine?
In moderation, of course, and trying to get the best quality you can, always
Yes.
important.
Is the organic better for
I think
wine?
practice-wise, organic is better. Not wine can be heavily sprayed with pesticides and other chemicals. So, always trying to get organic if you can afford it is a better option, just to avoid some of that pesticide load that really takes a toll on the body.
Hmm. Well, those three meals that you described sound really yummy. but are you able to eat snacks? What kind of snack?
Of course. Yeah. In between, I think if
In
you're
between.
eating those 3 meals, you're probably not going to be very hungry in between. So
Okay.
that's the other thing. When you're having really good, high quality food, you're making sure you're having good, high quality protein at each meal. You're not going to want or need to snack in between meals. But if you are needing to snack, if we're talking specifically about foods for beauty, I would look at some nuts and seeds, particularly like pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. I would do like cucumber and hummus, really great high protein and good nutrients in there. You could do things, you could snack on avocado toast if you didn't have enough to eat that day, or half an avocado. You could, there's really a lot of options if you wanted to do fruit, having something like higher in vitamin C, like kiwi or oranges, or even some berries. So a lot of options. Is making sure it's whole foods, not processed.
Yes. So over the last few podcasts, we've been talking a lot about collagen.
Mhm.
So what are the best foods for us to get collagen?
So collagen, one of the best things you can have is vitamin C rich foods.
Okay.
Okay, so vitamin C helps to produce collagen in the body.
Oh, okay.
So having your rich vitamin C foods like citrus foods, lemons, oranges, limes, kiwi is rich in vitamin C.
And we can add that to the water.
You could add that to your water.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And you have broccoli, peppers. All of these foods are very rich in vitamin C. So when we're looking at the foods that we take in, vitamin C rich foods is important. You also want to focus on foods that are rich in sulfur, because sulfur helps to produce collagen as well. So your cruciferous vegetables, which include like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, radishes, cauliflower, your leafy greens, and garlic or onions. Those are also rich in sulfur. And egg yolks is one of the best sources of sulfurous minerals. So this help to boost your body's collagen production. And then, of course, you have your quality meats, beef, chicken, fish, or bone broth, which you can make as well, which is a good source of collagen.
Oh, wow. I never knew all that. That's awesome. So are there any beauty myths around food that you'd like to tell us about?
Well, I think one of the main things is that it's expensive and restrictive. Right? Like people think if they have to go on a healthy diet, they're never going to have fun. They're, restricted to foods that just don't taste good, or it's too expensive. And I don't think any of those things are true. When you think about a lot of our habits, a lot of us are spending, $5, $6 on lattes at coffee shops, and a lot of money on sodas and processed foods. And we just shift some of that budget onto healthier foods, then it makes it more approachable and more affordable. But also when you're eating whole foods and you're getting those nutrients, you're not hungry all the time. So overall, you're eating less and you're spending less on foods. So I feel like that focus on whole foods also opens up a whole new world of flavors and possibilities. All that processed food and stuff is just like salt and oils and stuff. There's not a lot of flavor to them, right? But when you bite into like a seasonally fresh strawberry, or a peach just came off a tree or was picked that a couple days before, you just have a huge burst of flavor. So that's where I would think when I'm thinking about beauty myths around food. That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
So a lot of us, and including me, I work a lot. It's very difficult for me, and I have to make the time to prep for my food, and make it and take it to work and all of that. How do we make that easier for us?
Well, definitely planning ahead and meal prepping is very important, especially if you don't have a lot of time to cook or think about what you're going to eat that night when you get home. It's often that rush of between work and bed, and you're like, oh, I'm starving, I don't know what to eat, that you just end up reaching for things that maybe aren't so good for you. So having plenty of healthy options in the house is really important, limiting the unhealthy ones that are tempting to you. You can use a meal service if you're short on time or you don't like to cook. There's a lot of great meal deliveries.
Who would you recommend for meal delivery?
I have to think of the names off the top of my head, but in the past we have used a couple different services and I've had clients do them. You have to do a quick search and see what's available in your area. And I encourage you to look for ones that offer different meal type options. So a lot of these people offer like vegetarian or gluten-free or keto or paleo options. So you have to find one that works for you and your style of eating, but there are a lot of options out there.
So, your hair, skin, and nails are indicators of what's going on inside your body. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, it's one of the first things I look at when I start working with a client. We do something called like a nutritional physical exam, where even if it's virtual, I'm like, what's going on with your nails? How does your hair feel? We look for things like hair loss or brittle nails or cracking nails or lines on the nails. So there's so much you can tell from a nutritional point of view. I can pinpoint possible nutritional deficiencies like zinc or protein or omega-3 fatty acids or even iron. If clients show up with hair loss or premature graying or a lot of split ends or frail hair or even dandruff, that can also tell me what might be lacking in their diet and what systems might be imbalanced and need some attention.
So, what are some of the essential nutrients that we need?
So there's a lot of them, but we'll kind of look at a couple of my favorites here. Um, so protein, very, very important. Um, Protein is basically that building block of your cells, and it also is a building block for your hair, skin, and nails. You also need healthy fats like avocado and olive oil. Those are really important. Omega-3s, sulfur, zinc, magnesium, vitamin E and vitamin C and iron. So I'll kind of break those down for a few minutes if you let me do that and tell you where you can
Absolutely.
find them all.
Hmm.
So omega-3s are going to come from your wild fish. One of my favorite sources is wild salmon or sockeye salmon. Hemp seeds, chia seeds, and flax. So whether you're a meat eater or a vegetarian, you can still get some good omega-3s in there. Dairy and meat products that are pasture raised also contain good amounts of omega-3s. Not so much your conventional products, but your pasture raised high quality meat products. We had already mentioned sulfur, which you can find in those, eggs and cruciferous vegetables and so forth. And sulfur has that ability to continuously build and rebuild collagen and keratin, which is important for hair, skin, and nails. Zinc, if we look at that, so zinc is really essential for cleansing the liver, repairing tissue, and oxygenating the body. Often with a zinc deficiency, we see more cases of acne or hair loss or skin disorders. Vitamin E, very important antioxidant in the body, which means it is working to repair both damaged skin and damaged cells. You find that in nuts and seeds, as well as sweet potatoes, avocados, and mangoes. Magnesium. So this is the star of the show for most things in the body. It's responsible for over 300 to 400 biochemical reactions. And when we look at just beauty alone, we have a significant role in bone health, making your teeth harder and stronger and whiter. It's needed for hair to grow properly. So many different reasons why we need magnesium. And I find that this is a mineral that's so easily depleted in most people's diets because it's easily depleted during stress. And a lot of us are living in a state of chronic stress, right? And we also don't eat a lot of dark leafy green vegetables that much anymore. And that's an excellent source of magnesium, as well as
Would that be something like spinach?
spinach, kale, lettuces, collard greens, broccoli, all these dark leafy greens, and
Okay.
you're going to get some magnesium. Pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds are also really good, as well as seaweed. So very, very important.
So, do we absorb all these things naturally, or
So,
do we need like a supplementation to help with that?
so a lot of people do need to supplement with magnesium because they are so deficient, or they find that even the extra amount of magnesium is helpful. Um, Unfortunately, our soil isn't as rich in nutrients as it used to be. So we're not getting as many nutrients from our food as, let's say, our grandparents were. And
So when you grow your own food or get from the farmer locally, I mean, how's that soil?
You're going to get a higher nutrient value with that, especially because it's fresher. So nutrients deplete as they get picked and then they get to you. And a lot of the time, things in the store are at least a week old or so by the time they get to you. And every day they lose more and more nutrients. So the more local you can eat, the more seasonal you eat, the more nutrients you're going to get.
And I think sometimes even eating local or getting that local supply is cheaper than going to the grocery store.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime you can eat seasonally, and really, you're going to be eating those things cheaper. I mean, think about when you buy strawberries in January. A lot of them are like $6.99 for a container, whereas now you go to the store, it's like $2.99, $3.99. So if you really, and that's something I stress with my clients, the seasonal eating is so important because food is not just nourishment, it's information for your body. And it's telling your body how to relate to the external environment. So the more in season we eat, the healthier we'll be overall.
Yeah. So besides food, what else can we do on a daily basis for beauty? Well, I have an answer for you. Facials.
Yes.
So, beneath the surface, we have these highly absorbable supplements. They're all in the PDR. It's like actually eating the food, which it is. And where they get the plants, because or the molecules for the supplements is from Thailand, because Thailand's soil is not depleted like the United States. Yeah. What we do is we do a wellness check. And that, you come in, you bring your supplements with you that you're taking, and we kind of go through what you have and how our supplements, you can condense it. So if you have vitamin B, vitamin C, it gets very expensive, especially if you're going to Whole Foods and buying your supplements. So our supplements condenses it down. So you're spending less, but getting more supplement and nutrient, because you need the nutrients to absorb the supplements. Since all the supplements are liposomal, they go into your cell very quickly. They are all epigenetic studied. So what that means is that your cell repairs itself with these supplements, but it doesn't affect your DNA. So, and there's also absorption studies. So they're highly absorbable and all in the PDR. So if you're really unsure about your supplements, definitely give us a call at Beneath the Surface Spa. You can actually come in and bring me your supplement cabinet. Let's look at the craziness going on in there. Because sometimes you just have a ton of supplements that you're not taking because you don't want to take 10 a day. So why don't we condense it to the supplements that we offer? And you're just going to have maybe 4 to 5 bottles in there, but it will cover what you need for your daily nutrition. And they also together. They work together. So you're getting everything you need. And with the high absorption, you're not peeing out your supplements. But what else can we do?
Well, obviously, other healthy habits. So making sure that you are moving on a regular basis. Your body needs to detox, and in order to do that, it needs movement. You need to get that lymphatic system going. That's what helps carry nutrients around the body and waste out of the body. So exercise at least 20 to 30 minutes a day. If you can afford more, great. But at least just even some walking. It doesn't have to be strenuous. But you need to have movement in your body.
For those of us who are, really working and outside of the house and we don't have time to prepare sometimes, and we're eating on the go, hopefully making healthier choices, but they can be expensive, and, it adds up as you're eating out. To have the supplements just as your backup is really great. I take a lot of supplements because I am not a healthy eater. So I take collagen because our collagen also has the biotin and keratin in it, for hair, skin, and nails. And that's our beauty supplement. Also has the vitamin C, like I said, and hyaluronic acid, which is great for hydration. So it's beauty from the inside out. So your hair is hydrated, your skin will be hydrated. I also have an antioxidant pack I take because antioxidants help with free radicals. So it protects your skin from our smog-filled environment. environment, unfortunately. So that helps with your skin, and also more of a beauty supplement. And then I don't eat well, so I have to take the supplement that kind of covers all of my nutrition for the day. So I know I'm getting the nutrients I need for the day, even if I'm not able to eat them. So that pack is beneficial. I take it in the middle of the day because it wakes me up because of the B vitamins that are in it. I also at night take an immunity vitamin that does have that zinc in it, and that helps with immunity as well. And I take a purification one for the liver, kind of a detox, but not like a true detox, just like a heavy metal detox. So I take those two at night. So if you have movement in your body, do you not need to do any, but you feel you still need like lymphatic drainage? Should you professionally go and get that done? Does that
Depends
help?
what symptoms and signs your body is showing. So for people, I think lymphatic drainage is an excellent option for a lot of people. I've had some clients who really suffer with constipation or bloating and water retention. And if our diet changes and general movement changes are not showing results as quickly as we'd like, then something's probably a little too sluggish, and doing something like that would be beneficial. And clear the clogs, and get them out, make way for the healthy changes to move around. Yeah.
So, how much movement a day? Like, should we be walking an hour? Should we be really running and doing a little bit more active things? Or
I think
what
again
do you?
depends on where you're at. It's hard to make generalized recommendations for people because everybody has their own things going on. But I just say if you're not moving now, then start with at least 20 to 30 minutes of movement. And that might just be all you can do is a light walk, then just do that. I think getting on a rebounder, which is like a mini trampoline, is excellent for the lymphatic system, and it can be a good place for people who don't have a lot of stamina to start. Just bounce for 5 to 10 minutes in the morning, and don't have to bounce high and try to reach for the ceiling. Just move your body a little bit and get that movement going. That could be a good place to start. But for those who have a little bit more energy and a little bit more time, if you can find a good 45-minute workout, push yourself a little bit harder, that's great.
So let's talk a little bit about eating out, because that can be difficult. So what should we be looking for? Do we ask them how it's cooked? Do we or give them give the waiter directions on how we want to eat? How without being a pain in the neck,
Yeah, some restaurants are definitely more accommodating than others. So if you have to adhere to a certain diet, then of course you need to give, a direction if you have allergies or if you need to stay gluten-free and so forth. But generally at restaurants, you find that there's always going to be vegetable options. You might have to look at the side dishes or in the appetizers to find a few more. But at most restaurants, I think the side dishes will have some sort of leafy green option, like sauteed spinach or broccolini or something. So be adventurous and try a few of those to add to your meal. Start with a salad, get the leafy greens in that way. And try to avoid things that are fried or have refined oils. Those are just going to cause some inflammation in the body.
Okay. So I know that you do retreats. People love retreats. I know lots of people that go on all kinds of different retreats. I've been on retreats before. I've never been on your retreat. I would love to go on one, but it's never been conducive to my schedule, but we'll get there one day. So tell us a little bit about what you do for your retreat.
Yeah, so I've started these a few years ago, wellness retreats specifically for women. We have a focus on nutrition classes, which I teach. You've got a couple of those sprinkled in throughout the weekend. The retreat is from Friday to Sunday. We do some light movement like yoga or stretching, sometimes some meditations, just keeping everything light so it appeals to the general public. I cook all the food. So we get a nice organic seasonal food. Everything's always focused on season.
Is there a cooking class?
I do offer like some cooking demos throughout the weekend.
That'd be fun.
This last one we just had at the beginning of May, I did a sourdough baking class.
Oh,
So
wow.
we were all learning about sourdough bread. I also did a class on canning and preserving. So we did some strawberry jam and then taught everybody how to actually can it and, keep it for several months so it's safely preserved. Other classes that we've done, simple of like, this is how you put together a kale salad, or this is how you cook an artichoke, because that's a pretty intimidating vegetable that a lot of
Yes.
people avoid.
I love artichokes.
Yeah, I love them, but they can be tricky. In the fall, it was all focused on root vegetables. So I introduced people to those weird and wonderful foods that you probably don't want to pick up because you're like, what do I do with a kohlrabi? It looks like a Martian. So
I don't even know what that is.
well, if you ever see one with a label, let me know and
Yeah.
I'll teach you how to do it. You can make a delicious.
I'm like, what is this? Very intimidating.
Yeah, and those were the vegetables I brought in, like beets, kohlrabi, daikon radish, some things that people don't hear about, but you see, and you're missing all those beautiful flavors because you don't know what to do with them.
Right.
So we also have a lot of great community time. You're with a bunch of like-minded women who are health focused. Everyone on the retreats just becomes really good friends. We now have a core group of people that just keep coming back and bringing their friends. So it's a really, really fun bonding time as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome. When is your next one?
So I haven't officially announced it yet, but it might be at the end of August. And then I'm also starting to sprinkle in some one-day mini retreats as well, that are just either half day or one full day. And you'll start to see more of those because it's really been a demand for people. Women are busy. We take care of everybody else but ourselves. And it's hard to get away for an entire weekend. So a lot of people are like, give me 6 hours of relaxation and I'll be there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I have a hard time getting people into the spa to do an hour to just like chill out, right?
It's difficult to take time for
It is.
yourself. And women have
It
this
is.
complex that it's selfish to do that as well. But, I always say you can't pour from an empty cup. Like you have to nourish your body with the right foods and the right self-care in order to then be your best for the people that you have to take care of.
So for what does a one-on-one consultation look for you with you? What do people usually come to you for?
So I do all my work virtually. So we're just talking like you and I would be talking now. Um, the most common things that I address are hormonal imbalances, particularly for perimenopausal women or even in that 35 to 50 age range. That's the majority of my clients. These women come with concerns that their periods are starting to change, their mood is changing, they're starting to gain weight, or the thyroid is suddenly off. So we look at a lot of those imbalances that we can fix now before you get into menopause so that you don't have this problematic menopause that everybody's so afraid of. We've got to fix those hormonal balances now. So that's the primary age group and purpose of my clients or the reasons that they come to me. But I've also had clients who just need some general help cleaning up their diet, or prediabetes is another big subgroup of women. And you find that a lot of women in that 35 to 50 age group start to get prediabetes issues as well, or get concerned about developing diabetes. So we want to stop that right in its tracks before it gets any
Before medication,
exactly.
Right? I would want to do that as well. If I could eat my way to health, I'd rather do that.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I love that. And there's,
Yeah.
these are all signs that something's off balance. So your body's speaking to you in so many different ways. We want to start learning how to listen to what the body's saying so you don't get diagnosed with something, that you can reverse it. There's so many opportunities to reverse before it becomes something.
Boy, all of this is such great information, and I hope this will help change somebody's life out there. How can listeners connect with you and learn more about Appetites for Life?
So the best way is my website, appetitesforlife.com. There you can find all information about my services. You can sign up for my mailing list. There's also an opportunity to just sign up for the retreat mailing list, so that if you want to be the first to find out about what's coming up next. Most of my retreats are all local. We're in the New Jersey area. But those are the best ways to contact me. You can also reach out to me at an email at Caryn@appetitesforlife.com.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you for coming on the show today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to teach us all about beauty in our food. So hopefully all of you will start to look beautiful within how long? 28 days?
Yeah, if you start today.
Some of these things into motion. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And if you have any comments, please leave them below. And if you want to leave an email, if you didn't get that email from Caryn, just leave it there and we will send you some information.
Yep, thank you. I just want to say also Instagram and Facebook are great ways to find me. But thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been a great conversation.
It has. Thanks.